Chosen one, God says, your waiting season is officially over. You didn't come across this video by accident. I need you to stop whatever you are doing right now, and I mean really stop, because what I am about to say is going to hit something deep inside you that you have been trying to hold together for a long time. You have been waiting, quietly, patiently, sometimes not so patiently. You have been praying the same prayers, crying the same tears, looking at your life and wondering if something is fundamentally wrong with you because everyone else seems to be moving forward while you feel like you are standing in the same place you were a year ago, 2 years ago, maybe longer. But here is what I need you to hear right now in this moment. God didn't forget you. He was finishing you, and your waiting season, it just ended. Let's be honest with each other for a second. You smile in public. You say, I am fine when people ask. You post the right things. You show up. You keep going. The Ko-Fi link is waiting in the pinned comment below. Your support, no matter the size, becomes a seed that multiplies blessings back into your own life. You are no longer seeing in the ordinary way, but behind closed doors in those quiet moments when it is just you and your thoughts. There is a heaviness that doesn't go away. You have watched people who seemed less prepared than you step into opportunities you prayed for. You have been overlooked in rooms where you were the most qualified. You have poured your heart into relationships, jobs, dreams, and walked away with nothing but exhaustion and a quiet voice in your head asking, was any of this even worth it? And the worst part, you started to believe that maybe you are asking for too much, that maybe your dreams were too big, that maybe God had a different plan for everyone else. And for you, the plan was just to keep waiting. That voice lied to you. Because what is actually been happening, what you couldn't see from inside the middle of it, is that God has been doing something in you that could only be done through the waiting, something so specific, so carefully designed, that if he had rushed it, it would have broken you instead of built you. This video is for the one who almost gave up. The one who is almost giving up right now, the one who needs to hear that the season of delay was never a sentence. It was preparation. Let's talk about it. The waiting was never punishment. It was positioning. Most people experience delay and immediately assume something is wrong. We live in a world that rewards speed, fast results, instant answers, 2-day shipping, and same-day responses. So when your life doesn't move at that pace, it feels like failure. But think about this. A diamond doesn't form quickly. It forms under years of extreme pressure, in darkness, deep underground, where nobody can see it. And then one day, someone reaches in and pulls it out. And suddenly, everyone can see what all that pressure actually produced. That has been your story. You weren't being left behind. You were being placed. God doesn't position ordinary people in extraordinary places. He positions prepared people and preparation real. Preparation doesn't happen in a moment. It happens in the in-between, in the quiet, in the rooms where nobody's watching. Every single thing you endured during this waiting season, every closed door, every disappointment, every night you cried yourself to sleep was not random. It was curriculum. God was teaching you something that classrooms cannot teach: resilience, discernment, trust, character. And now you are ready in ways you cannot even fully see yet. You were protected from what you thought you wanted. Can I be really real with you for a moment? Some of the things you begged God for, the relationship, the job, the opportunity, if he had given them to you when you asked, they would have destroyed you. Not because you are weak, but because you weren't who you needed to be yet to handle them. Think about a time you prayed desperately for something that didn't come through, something you were certain was God's will, and then time passed, and you got a better look at it and realized that thing wasn't as good as you thought, or that the version of you back then would have handled it terribly. God's protection doesn't always look like angels and fire. Sometimes it looks like silence. Sometimes it looks like a closed door you are banging on from the wrong side. The delay wasn't God being cruel. It was God being careful with you, because he sees not just where you are, but where you are going. And he needed to make sure that when the real thing showed up, you were finally ready to receive it without breaking it. What you wanted then, and what you can hold now, are two very different things. Be grateful for the protection that looked like a number. Something in you had to die before something new could live. There is a version of you that existed at the beginning of this waiting season. That version of you had certain beliefs about yourself, about people, about how the world works. Some of those beliefs were wrong. Some were keeping you small. Some were actually keeping you safe from God's best, because they were rooted in fear, not faith. And God, in his mercy, allowed life to dismantle those beliefs. Maybe he let you lose something you were using as a crutch. Maybe he let a relationship end that you were hiding inside. Maybe he let a career fall apart that had quietly become your identity instead of him. It hurt. It felt like loss. And it was loss. But it was necessary loss, like how a surgeon cuts before healing, like how winter strips a tree bare before spring comes. You had to grieve something. You had to sit in the ashes of what didn't work before you could build something that would. And here is what is powerful about where you are right now. You survived that dying season. You are still here, which means the resurrection part, that is what is coming next. The devil worked overtime to make you quit right before the breakthrough. I want you to pay close attention to this one, because this might be the most important thing in this entire video. Have you noticed that the hardest moments of your waiting season didn't come at the beginning? They came near the end. The most intense pressure, the most crippling doubt, the most convincing reasons to give up. They showed up recently. They showed up now. That is not a coincidence. The enemy doesn't attack things that aren't valuable. He doesn't waste resources on people who aren't dangerous to him. The level of opposition you have faced is directly proportional to the level of purpose God has placed inside you. Think about it this way. If you were planting a garden and you knew that a specific seed was about to break through the soil, you would try to destroy it right then, not when it was just planted. Not in the middle of its growth, right at the breakthrough point. That is exactly what has been happening to you. The exhaustion you feel right now, the voice telling you it has been too long and it is never going to happen. That is not wisdom, that is warfare. And it is coming heavy because you are close. Don't let the enemy talk you out of your harvest on the last day of winter. God has been quietly closing doors you were too attached to keep open. Here is something that nobody really wants to talk about, but we need to. Sometimes the delay isn't waiting for something to come. It is waiting for something to leave. There are people, environments, mindsets and habits that were so deeply woven into your life that God couldn't move you forward without first removing them. Some of those things you were holding on to, not because they were good for you, but because they were familiar. And familiar feels safe even when it is slowly suffocating you. Maybe you held on to a friendship that was draining your faith. Maybe you kept going back to a version of yourself you had already outgrown. Maybe you stayed in a situation that was comfortable, but was never supposed to be permanent. And God gently, consistently kept closing those doors, and you gently, consistently kept trying to reopen them. The waiting season was, in part, God being patient while you let go. He couldn't take you somewhere new while you were still deeply anchored in the old. And once you finally released it, once you stopped fighting the closed doors, something shifted. That shift, that is what you have been feeling lately. That quiet sense that something is changing. That is not your imagination. That is transition. You have been chosen for a specific assignment, not a general one. One of the lies that makes waiting so painful is the belief that what you are waiting for is something everyone can access, and for some reason you are just at the back of the line. But that is not how it works. What God has for you was written with your name on it. It was designed around your specific experiences, your specific pain, your specific gifts, your specific story. Nobody else can do what you were created to do, not because you are perfect, but because nobody else has walked exactly the road you have walked. Your suffering wasn't random. Your detours weren't wasted. Every broken season, every failed attempt, every humiliating moment. It was all being woven into a specific testimony that will speak to specific people who need exactly what you have been through. You weren't waiting in a general line. You were being custom prepared for a custom assignment, and here is the weight of that. If you quit now, if you walk away before your season turns, those people whose lives you were meant to change, who were going to be helped by your story, your voice, your presence, they would miss you. Not just you missing your destiny. They are missing their breakthrough because you gave up. You have people attached to your purpose. People who are waiting for you to finally step into what God prepared you for. Don't disappoint them. Don't disappoint yourself. Your character was being built for the weight of what is coming success. Without character is a disaster waiting to happen. We see it all. The time people who get everything they wanted before they were ready for it. Fame, money, relationships, power. And then it falls apart publicly, painfully, because internally they weren't built to carry it. God refused to do that to you. The waiting season wasn't God withholding blessing. It was God building capacity, building the kind of emotional, spiritual, and psychological strength that would allow you to receive what He has for you and keep it, not have it for a season, and then watch. It collapsed because you weren't ready. Think about a building. You can build a beautiful structure fast, or you can take time to lay a foundation that can bear real weight. If you rush the foundation, the building looks fine for a while, until pressure comes, until storms come, and then it crumbles. God has been laying your foundation. Every moment you chose to trust when you could have panicked, that was a brick. Every moment you chose integrity when you could have compromised, that was a brick. Every moment you stayed when leaving would have been easier, that was a brick. You have been building something that will not collapse, and now the structure is ready to rise. The signs are already around you. You just stopped expecting them. I want you to think about the last few weeks. Has anything shifted even slightly? Has a door cracked open that had been completely shut? Has someone said something to you that felt like more than coincidence? Have you had a dream, a thought, a sudden sense of clarity that came out of nowhere? Most people in a long waiting season develop what I call expectation fatigue. They got their hopes up so many times, only to be disappointed that they eventually stopped looking for signs of breakthrough. They move through their days in a kind of numb survival mode, going through the motions, but not really expecting anything to change. And what happens when you stop expecting? You stop seeing, not because the signs aren't there, but because you have trained your eyes to look away. God has been sending you signals, small ones, quiet ones, a conversation that felt like a nudge, an opportunity that seemed minor but opened a door, a sense of peace in your spirit that didn't match your circumstances. Start paying attention again. Start expecting again. Not with the frantic, desperate energy of someone drowning, but with the calm, settled faith of someone who actually believes they are about to step into something real. Because you are. This is the season of sudden. What took years will not take years to arrive. Here is something that I need you to receive deeply, because it is going to change how you move in the coming months. God doesn't always move incrementally. Sometimes he moves suddenly. One conversation changes everything. One phone call. One morning you wake up and the door that was locked for years is just open. Not because circumstances slowly shifted, but because the appointed time arrived, and when God's timing collides with your preparation, things move fast. Suddenly, the right person appears. Suddenly, the finances shift. Suddenly, a relationship that felt impossible becomes effortless. Suddenly, health returns. Suddenly, the dream that felt dead takes its first breath again. You have been in the slow season. You have been in the endurance season, but what is coming is a suddenly season, and in a suddenly season, time catches up to itself. What felt like it was years away closes the gap overnight. This isn't false hope. This is the pattern of God throughout history. Joseph went from prison to palace in a single day. Ruth went from gleaning in fields as a widow to being positioned in a royal lineage before the season was over. David spent years running from Saul, and then, suddenly, the throne. Your suddenly is not far. In fact, I believe it is already in motion. You just cannot see the full picture yet. You are not the same person who entered this season, and that is the whole point I want you to do. Something right now. I want you to think about who you were when this waiting season started. Think about how you handled conflict then versus now. Think about what used to shake you that doesn't shake you anymore. Think about what used to feel like the end of the world that now feels like a temporary inconvenience. Think about how much deeper your faith is, even if it feels fragile compared to where it started. You are not the same. The waiting didn't just stall you, it shaped you. Produced patience you didn't have. It produced a kind of empathy for other people's pain that you couldn't have had without walking through your own. It produced a closeness with God that only comes from needing Him every single day, not just on Sundays. You came into this season as someone who believed in God. You are leaving it as someone who knows Him. There is a profound difference between those two things, and the person you are right now, refined, resilient, rooted, is exactly the person that the next chapter requires. Not a past version of you, not a future, idealized version. This version, the one that made it through. You are more ready than you have ever been. And God has been waiting to say those words to you. I want to speak directly to you now. Not generally. You, I don't know your name. I don't know the specific details of what you have been walking through, but I know this. You found this video for a reason. Something pulled you here. Maybe curiosity, maybe desperation, maybe a quiet hope that hadn't fully gone out yet. And I want you to hold on to that hope, because it is not random. That hope inside you, that is not wishful thinking. That is a signal, a sign from the part of your spirit that knows, even when your mind is tired, that the story isn't over. Your waiting season had a purpose. Every day of it, every hard, confusing, faith-stretching day. And the purpose wasn't to break you. It was to make you unbreakable. So here is what I want you to do today. Not tomorrow. Not when things look better today. Speak out loud to yourself, to God, to the air in the room. My waiting season is over. I am ready. I am chosen. And I will not quit one step before my breakthrough. Say it even if you don't fully feel it yet. Say it especially if you don't feel it yet. Because faith spoken out loud has a way of becoming the very thing that tips the scale. You have been through too much to stop now. You have prayed too many prayers to walk away in the final hour. You have cried too many tears for those tears to return void. God sees you, He always has. He hasn't moved, and He hasn't forgotten a single detail of what you have been trusting Him with. And now it is time. Your waiting season is officially over. If this video spoke to something real in you today, if even one line landed in a place you have been carrying quietly, I want you to do one thing. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Not for me, for you. Because I make these videos for the person who needs this kind of depth. The person who is done with surface-level content and needs something that actually meets them where they are. The Ko-Fi link is waiting in the pinned comment below. Your support, no matter the size, becomes a seed that multiplies blessings back into your own life. You are no longer seeing in the ordinary way if that is you. There is more here for you, and I don't want you to miss the word you need on the day you need it most. Drop a comment below and tell me, where are you in your waiting season right now? I read every single one, and sometimes just saying it out loud, even in a comment, is the first step toward believing it is almost over. I will see you in the next one. Keep going. You are closer than you think.